Disclaimer, the background art is mine with the exception of one logo which belongs to VivziePop, as this is a Has-Been Hotel related picture. The videos used in my commentary do not belong to me, I'm using them for the point of commentary. These videos fall under fair use and therefore I'm within my legal right to use them. Also keep in mind that both parties will not go without some sort of critique directed at them. For anyone who happens to watch this, do not attack anyone mentioned in this video. You are allowed to give your opposing opinion over social media, but you are not allowed to attack these people in their DMs or make awful posts about them that lack in critique. Howdy guys, your local smutmaster LovelyDeathXX at your service. For any of you who are following me, I'm sorry to inform you, but this is not going to be a positive video full of rainbows and sunshine. This is simply to expose 4 individuals, 2 of them who are vicious harassers, and the other 2 who are supporting them, and making claims about a YouTuber by the name of Creepshow Art that they can't seem to support. I'm going to say this ahead of time, I will not be putting screenshots in this video. However, I will be putting links to social medias that have covered this very well, and have many screenshots in the description below, as well as some of my own links involving my own interactions with the 4 individuals. The reason for this being that 2 of them have a bad habit of filing false DMCA on anyone who speaks out against them. But LD, who are you talking about? Well, my glorious people, Lily Jean, Laur, Steve McRae, and Cheshire Vic. If any of you have been involved in the LJ drama long, you'll know that some self-entitled debate YouTuber by the name Steve McRae and his co-host who likes to sink to low waters and then tells others not to do it, Cheshire Vic, have stepped up to make claims that Creepshow Art is a cyberbullying for making a commentary on LJ and her mother Laur, as well as finding ways to justify LJ's and Laur's behavior towards Creepshow Art since the commentary. So let's start from the beginning with the first allegations made against Lily Jean and her momager. For those of you who don't know, Lily Jean has been accused of buying her followers. As for my stance on this, while I have my own reasons for personally believing these claims, I'm not going to say that the claims against her are true. Why is that? Well, claims have not been proven or disproven. The only way to actually determine whether or not those claims are true is if Laur shows the world their list of purchases. My reasons for believing it? Well, they're way too defensive over something they claim to be false, but again, that is my opinion. Do not take my word for it, as I fully embrace that I could be wrong. However, that's not why I'm here. No, if that was all, I wouldn't be here, and I certainly wouldn't have been giving myself a panic attack over the past week over this, because I'm not ready for my voice to be out on YouTube. But hey, shit happens, am I right? Why am I here? Well, you see, LJ and her mother have a nasty habit of attacking anyone who opposes them. There are screenshots of said harassment all over Twitter, including down in my descriptions. LJ and her mother have Tumblr that revolves around their terrible behavior and exposes it. Then, of course, the wonderful, amazing Creepshow Art stepped in and made the commentary on the allegations against them. Love you, bae! This is where McRae and Chess come in. Steve McRae went into Creepshow's comments saying that he was going to make a video exposing her, and also made a post about this said video around this time. I didn't plan to be involved in this as much as I am now, but I simply went on to that post and left my opinion on it, not thinking that McRae, that genius of a man, would actually reply to me. That I didn't have screenshots for because I didn't really think anything of it at the time, but that was where I interacted with Chess and found out she was going to co-host for his video. Keep in mind, I will be coming back to this later. Around that time, I decided to make the video, and so I started doing research on the matter. I found a screenshot of Chess passing along a message from some troll to another individual, made a comment about it in Creepshow's comments, and the next thing I know, Steve McRae is attacking me in the comments. This I do have screenshots of. Again, I will be touching this topic again. I'm simply trying to give a nutshell version of things for now. A week goes by and then McRae's video comes out. Surely enough, Chess is there as well. The stream was 3 hours long and a shit show. I will cover this. For now, I want to get my critiques on Creepshow out of the way. Creepshow, I did some research on some things, and I will say this much, you did not use allegedly, right? Alleged, said or thought by some people to be stated as a bad or illegal thing, although you have no proof. Cambridge English Dictionary. Buying subs is not the best way to get a following, but it's not illegal. However, that does not change the fact that one of the claims against Creepshow was that she was spreading false information. Creepshow stated in her video that there was a chance she could be wrong and that she would recant that statement if it turns out that she was wrong.
So just a second disclaimer, everything I'm going to say in today's video is alleged. I'm not looking to get sued over here. So if it turns out that this girl has 1 million Instagram followers because inexplicably 1 million people found her, then immediately fell out of love with her content and stopped paying attention to her, but didn't unsubscribe to her in a way that Sherlock Holmes himself would find suspicious, then fine, I will concede on that. I would just like for her to explain why so many of her followers on Instagram are named just random numbers and letters, why they haven't posted a dilly darn thing their entire Instagram life, and why they are following at least 1,000 other accounts in a way that makes sense. I will say 100% I am in the wrong if any of these very obviously real people message me and tell me that they are indeed real human people who just happen to follow Lily because she appeals to a very specific demographic of people who love keyboard smashing instead of writing their names. Again though, I'm not looking to get sued by an 18-year-old who clearly has racks on racks on racks. That is in my bag. So again, everything I say from here on out is alleged. All the links in the description down below are alleged. I urge you guys to look at everything I'm talking about today and come to your own conclusion. Allegedly.
Also, keep in mind that we don't know for sure if that information is false, as it has not been proven or disproven. Therefore, anyone is free to believe what they want and not be wrong until proven otherwise. Links for Creep's video will be down below. So, my critique to Creepshow? Please look up a word before you use it. It will save you so much bullshit in the future. And also, I wouldn't recommend covering something that is such a gray area. You could have briefly mentioned it to give some context as to why LJ and Laur were harassing people and did your video on that portion, and it would have been just fine. Basically, if you can't prove it, don't talk about it. Otherwise, your video is good and it actually expresses some valid points. Now, on to McRae and Chess. I'll be saving LJ and Laur for last, as there's not much on them that I can cover that other people haven't already covered and proven with screenshots. I've also already briefly covered allegations of bot subs. While I go over this, keep in mind the definition of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying, the electronic posting of mean-spirited messages about a person, often done anonymously. Webster Dictionary. McRae and Chess partook in a 3-hour-long stream, this stream not being monetized as McRae says. He doesn't want profit off of this stream, which is respectable if not for the fact he linked his Patreon accounts and PayPal in the description of the stream. Common sense, McRae. If you're going to make a video non-profit, don't include your methods of payment in the description, and this is the kind of man who feels the need to beat critical thinking into people's heads. Practice what you preach, bud. Call this nitpicking, but this is just the beginning in the list of hypocrisy he has made for himself. The stream starts out with the names of listed people who killed themselves because of cyberbullying. First thing out of Chess's mouth is flat out bullshit. She talks about how she'll block anyone who's off topic. I'll cover this when it gets around to it, but I get called out in the stream and get blocked because I refuse to give them my IRL name and face. Chess, don't say you're not going to block someone for something and then do it anyways. Not even 5 seconds in and you're contradicting yourself. I'm not timestamping this as this is the beginning of the video, so feel free to look at it if you'd like. The link to McRae's trash heap of a stream will be in the description below. Disclaimer, I'm not responsible if you lose any brain cells from watching this garbage fire. He spends half an hour talking about himself, talking about how he doesn't argue with people who come at him sideways, in other words, dodging any plausible critique, but then he starts talking about spinning arguments.
On how easy it is to spin a narrative when you don't have the contextual information. And this is what trolls do. They have done this to me. They've done it to Cheshire. They've done it to other people. And we're going to get into some more detailed stuff about the things that have been said.
Yep.
But you guys...
I changed my mind. I will be using screenshots from combos between me and McRae. Cue the screenshots! So, by your logic, McRae, you are a troll yourself? How many times have you spud the narrative on conversations between you and me, and horribly, mind you? It's a type of argument that can actually be done pretty well if you're doing it right, which you aren't. It's not something that trolls do. It's a legitimate argumentative strategy that people use to invalidate the other individual's argument. The people you claim to be trolls are not the only ones to do this. Highly regarded CC members do this, lawyers can do this. You're nitpicking and without a good reason behind it as well. You're a hypocrite as you use this method yourself.
We talk about in this particular video. I mean, we're winding our way into it. This is going to be a long show, I think. Because when we see people say that they have valid criticisms, and they say, well, this person's buying subs, and yet they hide behind sock accounts. They hide behind, so many fake accounts, and they actually say, we're trying to deplatform these people.
McRae, someone not giving you their personal information does not invalidate their argument. Yes, people don't show their real faces, and they don't give their real name. There are many reasons for this. Some do it because they don't want their IRL information in the public eye because internet stuff can impact their real life. Some people don't show their face as a means of playing out a character. Take Spoctor Theory as an example. Doesn't show his real face because he plays a character in some of his videos. Even when he doesn't play a character, he still goes up live in front of everyone. He just chooses to wear a dinosaur mask. Another good example of this is Ponder Sprocket. There's one occasion that I can recall her actually showing her face, but other than that, she doesn't. Are you saying that every single one of her commentaries, including one that saves a boy's career on the YouTube platform, is invalid because she hides behind a character? Great, you just tried to invalidate a good chunk of the art CC. FYI guys, if you don't plaster your IRL life on social media, your opinions are shit. McRae, I tried to refrain from making insults, but your argument is stupid.
I do want to talk real quick before we get too far in about people have been mentioning Creepshow's video, Creepshow Art. Now, I don't really know this person. I don't really think that I probably want to. I don't know. I'm not trying to condemn her, but she made a video.
Huh. You're not trying to condemn her. Well, seeing since you've gone around labeling her as a cyberbully all over Twitter, I'm not inclined to believe that.
Into this episode.
Oh yeah, this is just an example. We're going to use this as an example of here is valid criticism versus this is not. You're not getting any real information here. This is a whole lot of accusations with a whole lot of
allegedly
trying to backtrack and say that my accusations aren't really accusations.
Chess, I don't know if you're assuming that she doesn't have any evidence to back up her claims or what, but we've already been over this. Creepshow stated that she could be wrong and told her viewers to do their own research. She was bringing awareness to the situation. However, one thing that she hit on the head with the video is that Laur and LJ's behaviors were nasty and cruel, and she put evidence in her description of that. She's also never stated that her accusations aren't accusations. She's just simply said that she could be wrong.
All right. So Chess, you were very creative, and you laid some landmines for trolls. And
so
I did too,
yeah,
but you were better at it. But go ahead.
Yeah, despite what some people may or may not be saying, that I'm being used by Steve or others, I knew very well what I was getting into because Steve laid out all of the information that he had about how, hey, if you're going to hang out with me, this is a thing that goes on. There's trolls with this and trolls with that. And of course, I've been around in the community in the background for quite some time, so I was well aware of what the hell was going on. So because I got to play a little game called Player 3 has entered the game, nobody knows anything about me. None of these people who've been following Steve around for years know who I am, and neither do any of these other people. So I was like, well, now that means I get to essentially control what information is easily available about me. So I laid a little bit of a landmine. And that landmine is the idea that I am actually underaged and 17. Well, I put a vote on Twitter, and you guys are welcome to that. This is from a couple weeks ago. I put this out. But if you guys would like to guess in the chat, how old do you think I am? You guys can pick whatever numbers you want. What I provided in the poll was, am I 17, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, or 30 plus? So how old do you guys think I am? Go ahead and throw numbers in the chat, and we'll go from there. But this group fell into this hole so incredibly well.
Hook, line, and sinker.
I was impressed. I was just like, Wow, guys, way to go. So people were coming at me being like, "Oh, you're 17. You shouldn't like. You should do this. You should do that. You're 17."
Do you have? By the way, do you have those screenshots? Because I didn't capture them. I should have.
Yeah, I got a good number of them. I don't have all of them, unfortunately, but I do have a large.
Do you have the one that somebody actually said that because you were 17, a bunch of old men were creeping on you? Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, taking advantage of a minor person. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share screens. Are you gonna have to adjust?
People think you're 42. No, that's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. That's not Cheshire's age. Yeah. By the way, let me give you guys a little bit of advice. When a woman asks her age, you never go high. You always undercut. You always have undetermined. You want to do what's undeterminacy. You want to go under a little bit. You don't want to be able to. You want some wiggle room there to not determine her actual age.
All right, so you guys can see what's going on.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, this is the beauty community saying this, which I find kind of ironic, given that a lot of the people that support the beauty community are teenagers. So they really do hate on their own group. So let's see. Chesh looks like a literal child. She still has baby fat on her face and does not look like an adult at all. I really doubt she's older than 17. LOL, I'm just waiting for... Or when they say stuff like this to a minor, LOL, I'm just waiting for Chesh to follow me so I master blah, 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 blah. Honestly, I feel sympathy for her. She's a child. She doesn't understand these men are exploiting her.
Good fucking grief.
You don't you have homework or some other major program?
I haven't seen that one.
17-year-old? Shoot. I'm 19 and have had alcohol plenty of times. Doesn't mean anything. That's in reference to this. This is the main
underage drinking. There you go. I remember that one.
Chesh is a 17-year-old child. These grown men are joking about painting their genitalia and masturbating to her. She is being exploited. So this is the clip. Unfortunately, I was unable to pull the actual clip that they had here. But essentially, what the clip says, and you can go find this clip on my channel. But what I'm saying here is that I could have been at the bar. I could have been out. I could have been doing anything. Why am I here? And so somebody asked, "Wait a minute. If you're 17, you wouldn't be allowed into the bar. Could you get into the bar?" And I was just like, "What? Could you get into the bar if you're 17? If you know what you're doing?" So my response to this is that me saying I'm 17? Because it doesn't sound like it's me saying I'm 17.
And by the way, there are other people out there that have very trollish behavior that have actually said, "Well, look at Chesh lying that she was 17." What?
Are you even old enough to have graduated high school? Have you ever had a full-time job? Just so strange to be smug about what other people are doing when you're likely not even at the point where you've done that yourself.
Wow.
She doesn't look a day over 12. Tell that to the movie theater so I can get cheaper tickets. You mean she
do you order off the kids menu? I'm just kind of curious. Like you go to Denny's? Okay.
You mean she looks like a seasoned mother of 4 kids who calls the cops any chance she gets? This is the comparison picture.
You're adulting.
I cannot wait. I really hope somebody had said that a picture of me needs to go on 13 going on 30, the subreddit, and I really hope somebody does put me on there because I would love to see the responses. So if you do put that on there, please link me. It wasn't out of context. They wish you a happy 17th birthday 3 months ago. You got busted. You're a minor. This is
I missed that one too. Oh my! I'm telling you, this is gold. This is absolute gold.
Is this taken out of context? 1, yeah, and 2, you're saying it says something it doesn't.
No, wait.
These are the trolls.
Scroll that back real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to. I recognize that
118 views.
So to give you guys a little idea here, by the way, Chess is not 17. This is throwing.
But listen, we'll get there. Don't spoil it, Steve.
Well,
don't spoil the fun.
She's actually a little bit younger, but whatever. But whatever.
Hey, by the way, the age of consent in Canada is 16.
Yeah. There you go. See how easy it is to spin. These people took information that they thought was. By the way, you could stop screen sharing unless you got more. Do you have more?
Oh, I got more.
Okay, let's finish your thing. Then we're
done.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead before we run in the narrative.
So guys, look at these names just so you're aware. Like, keep an eye out so you know where this is coming from, right?
They should be able to recognize this hangout. Yeah. Maybe they might. They know.
People were saying that there's this ridiculous amount of information, and I'm just like, where? What ridiculous amount? I keep asking for it, and I've gotten nothing. The people have shown you literally everything, yet all you can say back is proof. 1, that's not what I said. You've admitted to blindly believing everything Laur says without seeing a stitch of evidence to her claim. Where did I say that? Again, run along and do your homework and be a 17-year-old. Your reading comprehension skills are lacking. I suggest you pay better attention in school. I said I don't argue with children on Twitter. Go do your homework. Also do your homework on Steve, who is much older than you. Shiver.
I love that one.
Mommy, know what you're doing.
Do your homework on Steve. I've been around 7 years. I got a lot of shit that people can go find, good, bad, or indifferent. It's all out there. I'm happy for that. I've done good, majorly good work. And fortunately, that comes with the price of people being trollish. And so this is why we do these videos, because we're familiar with the people trolling.
Somebody saying that Steve is disabled. This person claiming that I am actually Laur. Go do your homework. I'm not going to defend myself. Blah, 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 blah. Dear God.
There's
and then over here.
So much spin. This is OneNote, by the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, just
so much spin.
Going. Oh my
Never
God.
stops.
Like, look at this. Oh, I don't. They said down here that they didn't block me, and this is them deleting all of the comments. So what I did is I snipped it in this order, and then somebody asked me what they had said, and this is actually in order what they had said, so you can actually match it over if any of you guys are interested in this garbage. I mean, it makes.
Okay, Chess, this doesn't disprove anything. All it does is state that people can lie sometimes. That doesn't mean the accusations against LJ are false. Again, if you want to argue that there's no proof of the bot subs, then just say there's no proof and therefore you don't believe it and move on. This whole social experiment that you exposed the stream to was a waste of time.
Should this 15-year-old, or sorry, should this 18-year-old
who was
when
15
they were
at the
15,
time, yeah.
who when they were 15 said something a little bit could have been worded better, maybe like, yeah, okay, I wouldn't say she's racist, but I could say that, oh, maybe this should have been phrased better. Should she be bullied for the next 3 years and be forced out of potentially having a career and doing what she's doing?
Would you want your child?
While I don't think LJ should be bullied, I don't think she should be free of criticism. And do I think she should be held accountable for things she said 3 years ago? Normally I'd say no, as decision-making skills as a 15-year-old are kinda lacking, but in LJ's case, she hasn't changed. She's still saying messed up stuff about people and still being malicious just as she was when she was 15. She's shown no growth, and at age 18, she's no longer a child. She needs to be held responsible for her actions. And I will give you this much about myself, McRae. I'm 18 years old and about to be 19. I still have better decision-making skills than LJ. I know what you are and aren't supposed to say. LJ should not be subjected to critique for the rest of her life over the same thing. What she does need to do is show some growth and learn from her mistakes. They proceed to talk about themselves for the next 40 minutes. Yay.
So to real quick, to kind of tie this all back in about like buying subs, and then we'll get into Creepshow's audio video and some recommendations for Laura and Lady Jean. I did a couple IG audits. Now, again, this is not the best program in the world by any means. But here's like, I did Playboy. These have a 54% estimated real followers. That's not very much when you have 8 million. Okay, 8 million. This is almost 4 million supposed fake accounts. The expectations for the comments is 2.7 thousand with an average of only 204. You could run the same argument that people have had against Lily Jean as far as fake accounts that Playboy bought subs. Now, I'm telling you right now, there are fake subs out there. I could tell you right now, and I was going to do this, but I decided not to because it's just running over time. But I have a web page. I do a philosophy blog. And I have to purge names of that philosophy blog a lot because for some reason I have these Russian bots or whatever, and they sign up. And I've showed Cheshire this, and I've showed other people. And I have an automatic program that actually does it. Hundreds of them. Probably 1,000 total. And even still, when I checked it the other day, Cheshire, were they not new fake accounts?
Oh, yeah, there were new ones.
Okay. Did I buy any of these?
No, with what money?
Yeah, of course. What would be the purpose? My blog
What's
is not.
the benefit
my
to you?
blog is not monetized.
No motivation
It's
for that
none.
at all.
But people would say, well, look, Steve, you had 300 fake accounts, and you
Scroll through the Twitter feed. Scroll through my Twitter followers and watch the spike of how many of these fake accounts, trolly accounts, are there because we've gotten involved with this situation. So there's a bunch of people. The one person that claimed they had 6 accounts. All 6 of those accounts follow me.
Yep. So I wanted people, and this goes out to Creep especially because we're going to talk about our video soon. You have to look at a holistic approach. You have to look at everything all together. You can't just assume people are buying subs because the indicator that you think is the case. Because we've shown at the very beginning of this video how easy it is to look at a graph and go, look, this person bought subs. Now, here's another one here. This is Revlon, going back to the makeup artist type stuff. Revlon, 2.3 million subs. 46% of them are real. Over half are fake, according to, again, IG Audit, which I do not think is a very accurate source, by the way. Expected comments, 758, with only an average of 15. People were using this argument. Oh, look, they have all these different subs, but they have such low engagement. 15! Okay. You could use the same argument to say Revlon bought subs.
You could use the same arguments to say everybody has bought subs. Everybody's bought subs. Woo! I prefer turkey. Okay.
Here's another one that I did. MAC Cosmetics, 23 million followers, 54%. Expected 7.3 comments. Average only 256. That's very low engagement. Even the likes very low.
I went through. So at one point, I went through when we were talking about Creepshow's video. I actually went through their list of known accounts that are known to be sock accounts for Lily and Laur. I actually went through and I looked them all up because the main reason why you put a list like that out, which by the way was like under 20. So out of the millions and millions of followers that they have 20 sock accounts apparently, which is a big deal for some reason. But they're not. There's not a way just by looking at them to tell that they're sock accounts. And 2 or 3 of them, I actually have an email in them, and I emailed that email, and yeah, it was them, and they weren't hiding it. It was their managerial stuff. So it's not a sock account.
Yeah, it's so funny. The list of people think that people say that Laur had all these fake accounts. Mostly they're just old accounts. I have old email accounts as well. If people really wanted to dive into.
Of course.
I have
all the accounts that just aren't active.
I have old, cable type accounts. But here's another one. CoverGirl, 48% real, 48%, right? Expected 958 or 925, average 32. Now, Lily's is low. Not going again, according to IG Audit, 24%. Now, if you do a more heuristic analysis, there's what's called what is it, auditor? But it shows about 600 of her followers are legit, or 600,000 are legit. The rest come from Iran and some other places. This is where they get that 80% from, which again, not completely accurate, because if you look at the podcast from the Non Sequitur show, I'm sorry I don't have these analytics. I cannot back this up because I don't have access to it any longer. If I get the podcast back, I will verify it then. But you'll see that 48% of our downloads was from one state. I believe it was Ohio. We had we're pushing 500,000 downloads on iTunes. That's a lot for iTunes. We were a very popular podcast. We were always in their highly recommended things for our podcast. But, it showed that it was from one state. Now, I don't think that's really accurate, right? I don't think those were actual bots. I think these are tools to give you kind of an indicator, but I don't think these tools are very highly accurate. And I certainly cannot derive that this person bought subs for the same reason I couldn't for Revlon.
Yeah, it's not accurate enough to be able to make any kind of actual claim based on that alone.
First of all, I'm going to give you, McRae, the same critiques as I gave Chess. This information that you put in front of us does not disprove the claims against Lily Jean. All it does is let people know that if they're getting their proof from this source, that it's flawed. Also, while Creepshow used this method of proof, this is not all she did use. More than anything, she expressed finding it weird that for her size, she only gets a small amount of interaction from her fans. But you chose not to cover that part, didn't you? So if you're going to cover just one segment of the proof, don't make the argument. Like I've said before, the only one who can prove or disprove anything is going to be whoever is in charge of Laur and Lily's finances. Whether that be one of them, both, another party, or a combination of all three. 2 hours of hypocrisy and useless information into the stream, and they just now finally cover Creepshow's video. Let me throw in a small little bit of evidence that you can find just by watching the last hour of the video. They do not once show Creepshow's video to show what they're talking about. They just throw timestamps at people and tell them to figure it out for themselves. That's not how you do commentaries, geniuses.
The end here. Let's get into the Creepshow Art kind of thing. This is all your domain, because you,
all right,
fuck, you did way more diligence on this than I would have.
Okay, so I am going to preface this real quick. We're not going to get through everything, and there is going to be stuff that we skim over and stuff that gets missed, specifically because, one, we're short on time, and two, because I didn't watch this video more than once.
1. Why are you critiquing a video you've only seen once? I watched it 3 times before writing the script, and watched it the whole time up until I had to review your dumpster fire, all the while writing this script. Meaning, I'm watching your 3-hour stream twice. 2. Maybe you would have more time if you weren't spending 2 hours of the stream on irrelevant things to the topic.
Play the video. I think we're just going to go with the timestamps and you talk about it. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so there's definitely, like...
No offense to Creepshow Art, but I just... it's too time consuming.
Oh my god, nobody cares.
Yeah.
This video is, what, 29 minutes, 28 minutes and something? It's almost a 30-minute video, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
It's just... My last timestamp is 28:30.
Well...
Says the 2 individuals who did a 3-hour-long stream and took 2 hours to get to the main point. I could understand it if the video is over an hour, but it's half an hour. No excuse.
28 minutes, the first couple of minutes are the most important part of this video, and it basically debunks everything she says after the first 3 minutes, or 3 minutes 20 seconds is whatever she stamps it at. So the first 20...
Someone keeping count on the hypocrisy because this stream reeks of it. Seeing as you just said you're leaving out parts of her video. Also, Chess, how do you figure that the beginning of her video debunks the rest of it? Like I've stated before, the bot subs are not debunkable by anyone but LJ and Laur. If anything, it's up for speculation. Anyone can agree or disagree whether or not Creepshow is correct, just like someone can go and claim that LJ doesn't buy her subs. They're not debunked as it cannot be proven or disproven. Besides, while it doesn't prove her case, Creepshow did state why she believed it. If anything, this just raises the question of whether or not this is actually cyberbullying, as there doesn't seem to be malicious intent. Think back to the definition I gave. Also, Chess, this does not debunk the claims of harassment that Creepshow covered, as the beginning of her video has nothing to do with the claims of harassment.
28 seconds is, she claims to know about Laur and Lily's understanding of copyright and what they think about it. How do you know that at all? How could you possibly know what their opinions are about the copyright system, especially since when they did DMCA somebody, they did it by accident?
Yes, Chess, you brilliant woman. It could be argued that Creepshow doesn't actually know their opinion on copyright system. But then you get started into how they accidentally filed the DMCA on WCT's video. However, that's false, and it can be proven by a screenshot of LJ saying she regretted taking down the DMCA on him. That's not something you say when you accidentally false DMCA someone. The screenshot will be listed in the description.
The video, I guess.
So a lot of the time, like throughout Creepshow, I forgot her name for a second. Throughout Creepshow's video is that she's talking about that they're encouraging, she encourages people to make their own video about it. Then when we said we were making a video about it, she freaked.
Claiming that Creep freaked out when the topic of McRae's video came up is subjective. Seeing as McRae was threatening to expose her, she simply just responded in the snarky way she always does. You really don't know her, so why make such a subjective claim about her? If this is humor, it sucked. Get a better hobby.
32, she claims that they have made fake minority accounts. Like, her biggest thing is that she's really upset for other people because she's claiming that Lily and Laurel have made fake accounts that are minorities, and that they're trans, she's made these trans accounts, and that they might be threatening to dox other creators. Oh, no!
She literally just covered this with screenshots.
run by a trans boy. One person specifically called them out for using her boyfriend's image on their profile.
This isn't the first recorded instance of it either. There are 3 other users that have been exposed for using someone's IRL image. I will say this, that doesn't entirely mean that the fake account belongs to Laur and LJ. However, given the circumstances, I can understand why Creepshow came to this conclusion. Again, Chess, do you have any proof that these accounts aren't fake? You're arguing on something that, again, is a gray area. You haven't debunked anything. Just said that it's false without any sort of proof to back it up. I'm really smelling the hypocrisy here. Don't hold people to the same standards you aren't going to follow. Screenshots will be posted in the links.
Real quick, there's one account somebody had, they were like, oh, look at this Shaniqua 47 something.
Sock, you haven't been banned. I don't know what you're talking about.
But here's the thing. They're like, oh, this is Laur. I actually have a DM from that person who's a real person to them back from a while back ago. Okay, because I asked them, how can I establish that this is not you under this account? I'm just kind of curious, and they're like, well, we've talked to this person. So it's very easy to make accusations that these are false accounts. Matter of fact, if you go to Creep's video, you'll see people saying hi, Laur, and yet you look at the account; it's been established in 2013 or something. It's like. And they have like 10,000 subs or something. It's bizarre. Anybody could throw these things out there.
McRae, why are you asking for proof if you aren't going to give it yourself? Where are the screenshots of this DM conversation you're talking about? What do Creepshow's fans' misconceptions have anything to do with her?
17, 18, she says a number and it doesn't match the number she's showing on the screen. At one point she says 100.
Chess, she didn't say that all sock accounts had the same numbers, just that they have the same pattern of keyboard smashing the number pad. Are we done with the over-exaggeration now?
Let me address something that's in the live chat, because I take some of these accusations and things like this very seriously. But somebody says, has he addressed how Laura cyberbullies Shannon, which, by the way, is actually what's called blaming the victim. Laura is a victim of bullying. There's no question about it. Has she handled it appropriately? Probably not. But to say that she's bullied Shannon is just insanity. But she says, someone who has openly struggled with mental health and is a very stressful situation at the moment, then why is she making call-out videos? I mean, I understand she's in a very stressful, I know her situation, and she's talked about mental health issues. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse to make these types of videos where you don't have the evidence. Evidence that she cannot possibly support. Having mental health issues does not absolve you of these things. And again, you have to be able to take criticism if you try to levy criticism against people. You're not immune from it. Don't use mental health as an excuse, because mental health is a very serious thing, and I take that very offensive.
Yep, all civilness out the window. McRae, you're a dumbass, and I have screenshots to prove it. You're calling Creepshow Art a cyberbully for making a video on Laur and LJ that has some fact problems, which I will embrace that. There are some factual issues. However, dehumanizing someone and making fun of their living situation is bullying. Last time I checked, Creepshow never sank that damn low. Not bullying my ass. Not to mention you're getting pissed off over the claims that are being made about LJ by creeps, but you left out one small part. And again, something we have screenshots of. LJ went as far as to make the same claims about Creepshow in her comments. How oblivious do you have to be to look past that? Also, where the hell did you get that she was using her mental health as an excuse not to take blame for the video she made? For why she may have done the video? Maybe it was because it was her most requested. God forbid she needs any monetization she can get, because like you done recognize, she's suffering on a financial level. You're also under the assumption that she's not going to take responsibility for it if it turns out she's wrong. She already done said that if she was wrong, she would concede. You're acting as if she made this video maliciously when there's really no proof of that. But there is proof to deny the malicious intent. May I argue, by your logic on this stance, that Laur and LJ are not immune from the criticisms either. Being a victim of bullying is not an excuse for them to act like assholes. Two wrongs don't make a right. But here you are covering their ass, and anyone who stands up for creeps is a bullying apologist? Get off your high horse, you're right down there with them. I do agree with one point, however. No one is immune to criticism, not even you, so quit ignoring yours.
at 9:35, which I found interesting. Please tell us how you possibly know anything about their finances. Good luck.
Chess, and this goes out to McRae as well. If you're going to tell her to be better with her wording, you need to be better with yours.
Money that allows her to dedicate a certain amount of time and energy to this instead of finding a real job. It's the fact that she...
You could argue that Creep was making assumptions about LJ and Laur's lack of a job, but not that she's making assumptions on their finances. Since I haven't gotten to say this to Chess yet, practice what you preach.
Really interesting. Creepshow actually claims to have faked her own fans when she first started her channel.
I remember that in that video,
yeah. So she actually said that she made fake accounts before when she first started her channel. So
as a Creepshow fan and someone who's watched her older videos, you'd actually be wrong. She didn't fake subs or followings. She faked views by watching her videos over and over again. She did this thinking that she wouldn't go far with her YouTube career. I won't fault you for that one, as you don't follow Creepshow, but don't get too excited.
Trust me, I'm absolutely convinced that she's not a racist bone in her body. Because she phrased things a little bit different, I mean, possibly, but again, she wrote out when she was 15. But people have taken it and they spun it no end. And I've seen it happen to us. We've had people spin the same shit.
We showed it already.
Yeah, so I mean, I can empathize with it.
McRae, you jumped up to call everyone a cyberbully who even tried to give their reasons why they believed that your accusations against Creepshow were false. Shall I note the multiple times in conversations with you, you try to make me out to be a pedophile, an anti-LGBT, and a cyberbully apologist. Also getting pissy when I didn't play into your yes or no trap questions. That also happened to be a spin on the opposing side's argument. And that's why you blocked me and accused me of being a dishonest agent. You also have a really bad habit of insulting anyone who dare tells you why they think you're wrong. Whether it's calling them a dunce, a cyberbully, or a flat earther. That's a stupid insult, by the way. Calling people who don't agree with you flat earthers? Those two things don't equate. Apparently you need to research what flat earther actually means because apparently you don't know.
It goes a weird direction, and the same direction that she was going earlier when she says that she bought her own subs, or fake, sorry, not bought, faked her own subs earlier. She says game recognizes game, and she's referencing what she said was lying, that Lily and Laur were lying to the levels of Moriarty. And so she's saying that she's a master tier liar and game recognizes game, implying that she's done and is doing the things that she's claiming Laur and Lily
I think that's called projection, but whatever.
Yeah.
Chess, shut up. You're making yourself sound stupid. Seriously, again, you're making an assumption about Creepshow that has no evidence to back it by one small thing she said in her video. Just because she faked views in the past doesn't mean she's still doing it. Again, if you're going to get on to people about not providing evidence of their stance, you need to not do it yourself. McRae, if you're so good at arguing, you should have been able to figure that Chess claims were borked from the start, and should have not added your own petty nonsense to the matter. Keep in mind, she also said that she did decide to keep a lot of the evidence in the description, out of fear that Laur and LJ would have Creep's video taken down with a false DMCA. And given as you yourselves acknowledge that, Creep's fear was reasonable.
Dressed. So if you want to look into that, that's at about 17:30. Then at 17:58, apparently claims to know what went on behind the scenes with Fight Beauty, the way she and how she tells the story. And it's like, I have no idea where you got that information from or how you know any of this, because you don't tell us how you know any of this. Then at 18:30, there's a story about CoverGirl and says what and speaks for Lily and Laur and saying what they said without showing any screenshots or any demonstration that they actually did say any of these things. Now, keep in mind that they may or may not have said some of the stuff that Creepshow is saying that they did. The point is that Creepshow literally showed none of it.
None of it. Not a shred of evidence.
Chess, you literally said that you are just now getting to watch this video. Am I correct? You say she doesn't show any of the evidence in her video. Yes, while that is correct, that doesn't mean the evidence is not there. Creepshow stated in her video that the proof would be down in the description. You just invalidated a huge chunk of your argument.
1831, she claims to have been blocked by Lily and Laur for tweeting about this situation. She doesn't demonstrate that she was blocked or any of that.
While I do try to avoid anecdotal evidence, I'm going to splurge a little with this one, and depending on whether or not anyone on Twitter wants to produce evidence of this, they'll be added to this description. But even then, you've given me such an easy argument. LJ and her mother block anyone who has an opposing opinion. I'm blocked, and all I did was simply get into an argument with you, McRae, specifically the one where you sicked LJ and Laur on me. There's so many people blocked that the argument hardly has to be proven.
Get mad because after this is
we're not going to address any of it.
We're not going to address any of them, and we're just going to block them all. So
Yeah,
they're all going to be like, "Well, look, we won. We got all blocked, and they're not talking to us." Oh wait.
Yippee skip.
What is this? Critique dodging? Oh my god, no way! Is that really what you want to say around people who are out to criticize your video? Let me explain something to you two. You can dodge the critics all you want, but at the end of the day, you're just making yourselves look like hypocrites. And the people who are going to see this video are going to take it into consideration. I hope you understand that you are making your own image look bad in front of everyone else. From there on out, it's just closing statements. Thank God, watching this once killed some of my brain cells, and I had to do it twice just to get this video out and properly cover the claims. Now for my closing statements. Some of the critiques that I've thrown at McRae and Chess are just small compared to my huge complaints. My main complaints about the stream: you did not represent the victims of cyberbullying in any way. 2 damn hours was spent on irrelevant bullshit, including your old streams, which was entirely irrelevant to the topic. And yet you tell others to stay on topic. You should have never done a stream on this because you spent more time humoring the live chat than you did covering the claims. There's no excuse for that. Also, please, for future references, if you're going to make a profit-free video, do not add your methods of payment. It looks terrible and ratty. Yes, I will say, you held some valid points, but they were way too far between to justify a 3-hour-long stream. Another thing that I honestly despise about this stream is that you don't hold Laur and Lily to the same standards as Creepshow, and that's really, really unfair. My final thoughts on Creepshow's video. Boo, you gotta be a little bit more thorough with your evidence, and you also need to use words properly, or you've got jackasses like McRae and Chess spinning your claims back on you. I will say this much, there was a lot of anecdotal evidence. There was also some accurate stuff as well. However, these flaws do not make you look like a cyberbully, it just showed that you made a few mistakes. There was no need for the amount of hype that McRae put into the advertising of this upcoming video. As far as I could see, having watched her video 5 times, I've seen no malicious behavior that suggested you wanted to hurt Lily's reputation. Your video was not made in a threatening manner, and by definition is not cyberbullying. Let me clarify this though, we all have our own definitions of cyberbullying. I personally think that it's not that vague, but I do not consider a commentary cyberbullying. My final thoughts on the LJ and Laur situation: while I feel that there is a large portion of the claims being up to debate, I do however strongly believe that the harassment claims, with what I've seen, are true. Do I think Lily Jean should be cancelled? No. Do I think Laur should be cancelled? I'm going to say yes, as her being cancelled in my book is her stepping down from her job as Lily's manager. Lily needs to take many of these criticisms to heart and also stop acting like her mother. Like the stream acknowledged, Laur has some issues with how she handles things and is a risk to Lily's career. But I see a lot of her mother's behaviors in Lily herself. Lily and Laur also need to step up and apologize on their platforms and directly to the people that they went after. Afterwards, then they can choose to ignore the other claims as there's lack of evidence to prove them, or debunk them on their own. How they choose to go about handling the situation makes them not only look bad, but also makes them look suspicious. Another thing to say, and this is directed mostly at Lily, if you want to be a large platformer, you're going to have to learn to take the hate. It sucks, I know, but if you go after everyone who insults you and looks down upon you, you're going to make yourself a bigger target. Also understand that the same level of hypocrisy can apply to you as well. You made the same claims about Creepshow that she made about you, and like hers, yours is not backed up. Sweetheart, no you is not an argument. If you want people to let go of the past, you need to show some growth. Sure, you're still going to get hate, but then you'll have people such as McRae, Chess, Creepshow, and myself who will take that to heart. At the end of the day, you need to take the first step to put this all behind you. And the first step is you admitting that you screwed up somewhere along the way. Your mother needs to do the same. Some final and additional notes for McRae. You are a little better composed on YouTube than you are on Twitter, I will say that much. Not much, but there is a difference. You need to try and apply that to Twitter, or any online platform that involves you typing out your responses. It makes it easier to actually hold a discussion with you. You made a lot of assumptions of how no one would hear your argument, but you wrote it in such a way and used language in such a way that it makes people not want to be civil with you. And I really did try to be civil with you. And yes, I will admit, I came off a little blunt as well. I too admit that sometimes typing out arguments can, appear overly blunt. I am trying to work on that. The conversation between you and my boyfriend, he did not mean it maliciously when he said he didn't want to argue with you. He saw our conversation and thought it would be a lost cause for you because it seems like you undermine everything the other person is saying. He was nothing but civil that whole time and there was no reason to block him. It's not like he DM'd you or anything. These are public comments and you blocked him out of disagreement. I could go on and talk about your arguing skills, which are pretty lackluster, but that would be 2 essays worth and my closing statement is already 1 essay worth. Well guys, this was my first commentary and I did my best. Feel free to give some critiques, I'm open to them, as long as they stay civil, otherwise I won't give you the light of day. Do not get me wrong, I'm not a commentary YouTuber, I just did this one because this was a topic I felt strongly about. So I recommend that you not subscribe to me if you're after commentaries. If you like video games and art, well feel free to click the subscribe button. Me and my BFFC plan on doing a voice-acted playthrough of Angels of Death. Yeah boy. So it's gonna be cringy as hell. I do apologize as I did not plan for this first video with my voice in it to be something so negative. But hey, now I have an excuse to make my videos on YouTube less freaking dead. This is your local smut master, Lovely Death XX, drawing boobs and signing off.